Welcome, foolish mortals.
Hi everybody, welcome to my paranormal vlogs. So I got a little spooky today and I put some false eyelashes on. That was scary in itself because it was very hard to put on. It was very hard to put on, I'm not good at that. So I messed with them and they got all over, and so I finally got them on. I wear them too often because I'm not good at putting them on. So what I wanted to do was first say I hope you all had a good Halloween, a fun Halloween, a spooktacular Halloween. I did nothing. I wasn't feeling well, so that's why I didn't go live on Halloween night like I had planned. I suffer from migraines that I get quite often, and I'm hoping to kick those soon. And unfortunately, I never know when they're going to hit. So I had a bad migraine and I was feeling really sick and out of it and really tired. And the weather was pretty bad. It was a very dark and spooky night. It was windy out. Our power kept going on and off throughout the night. It started the night before, and throughout the night it was going out in the morning, and I just didn't want to go through the trouble of setting up everything and nothing happening. And it was really too noisy because I was going to do a live with having conversations with the spirits, and unfortunately doing that with the noise wouldn't have been really good because it was so windy. Because it was so windy, I really didn't want to do that because the noise from the wind and all the things that were banging around. So I did capture a lot of EVPs and pictures and water scrying. I'm going to add just a few that I caught, the newer ones, and then my favorite one again. I'm going to add a few of my EVPs. One of them, so I got an EVP when I was talking to interdimensional beings, and I asked, where are you? Would I be able to see you? And they said, look outside and you will see us. Look outside and you can see us. So I'm going to put that EVP right in here right now. So that was a real EVP I got the other night, and I'm going to be probably trying to communicate with them more. They are real, they are there, they're not too far. There's many ships above us, whether you believe it or not. And most of you are capturing that, because I find that a lot of people didn't believe me when I was growing up and I was little, and I was telling them about the things speaking to me and the things I witnessed and my experiences growing up paranormal. So that kind of annoyed me when people weren't taking me seriously or listening to me, and when you're a child it's even harder. But it was the 70s. Really, people didn't start talking about the paranormal or anything, or even UFOs for that matter, until the late 70s, and only very little, because they had Close Encounters, then you had all the horror movies like The Exorcist. So that kind of kicked open the door to have a little dialogue, but there really wasn't any shows. Like I said in my past paranormal blogs, there really wasn't anything. There was no internet. Yep, those were the old days. Yes, I'm old. But there was no internet, so you couldn't hop on and look up this paranormal thing or ask a question. There were no ghost hunting paranormal researchers. There was none of that. There was a Lorraine and Ed Warren. They were out there, and I remember hearing about them, and I was looking for their mail because there was no email. Okay, there was no internet, so emails didn't exist at this point, so you had to physically mail a letter. And I was a kid, and nobody was believing me anyway. But now, then as the 80s went on, like the later 80s, people started talking about the paranormal and UFOs, and then in the 90s it just opened up with the advent of the internet and then all those ghost hunting shows. So yes. So what made it easier also was we didn't have digicams back in the day. Now, I'm not a big cell phone user, so I don't walk around with my cell phone snapping pictures or recording. I have a very old BlackBerry cell phone. Another thing I want to talk about is watch out for the fear porn addicts. There's a lot of them out there. If they are pushing, even if you see, a lot of shills have been planted here since YouTube was created, or in the very beginning anyway, knowing that this is taking off. And the shills are the ones that come off as a regular person that actually told real truths in the beginning. But later on, they started mixing lies and more lies, and then you get disinformation. They use it, and then the other thing is, or they use the pole shift. There is no pole shift. No pole shift. And I want you to listen. There is no pole shift happening. It's not going to happen tomorrow, next week, next year, or ever. It's fear porn, and they need to push that on you because the negative ones, the ones that are controlling the matrix, the ones that are trying to control you, need you to create, the dark cabal basically, need you to create this world and the anxiety and negativity. And if it's always what you focus on becomes reality. And I've said this in my other videos. So if you're focusing on the pole shift and you're panicking, not only are you feeding that negative field that they need, because they feed off of negativity and fear, but you're creating it. If enough of you are thinking of that, you'll create it. So if there's anyone out there that's pushing this pole shift, I don't care if you've been listening to them for 10 years. I don't care if they are the sweetest, nicest people, or if you talk to them on the phone. If they have a channel and they're pushing the pole shift, or if you want to listen to them, but don't believe them and just see it. Now, they could be good people with bad information, but most of them know what they're doing. Another thing, if they're pushing disaster after disaster on you, no, because the end of days is happening now, but it's not the end of days for us, and it never was. The end of days is the end of days for them, and it's the end of days. So we're almost at the end of it, and it's for the dark cabal, the evil ones, the negative ones. It's the end for them, but they always wanted you to think this. You know, I mean, because the Bible was manipulated. Anything in this matrix that was created in this matrix had the dark cabal's dirty little Masonic fingers in it, and they changed all the things, and they put out lies to make you believe this. So if you're buying it, you're falling into their trap. There's no planet Nibiru, Planet X, Planet 9, whatever they're calling it. There's no big asteroids coming this way. There's none of that. So if someone's pushing pole shift, Planet 9, Nibiru, or the sun is going to burn us with the radiation and the kill shot, that's not going to happen either. I've watched some channels, and they're good people, but they've got this bad information because they're reading stupid nonsense from people that are Masonic. They're part of that Illuminati, dark cabal, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I do know that for a fact. So you need to stop listening to people pushing the sun is going to fry you, the radiation is going to kill you from the sun. If you're going to get radiation from anything, it's going to be from your 5G Wi-Fi. So, and there's ways to protect yourself against all that. And one of them is stop carrying your cell phones around everywhere and on you. Another thing is you've got to stop listening to the fear mongers. If they're pushing this pole shift and they're sticking it in their videos, even subtly, they don't want to seem like a fear monger, not to scare the ones off that they've drawn in with their truths. But so they try to do it more subtle, but they do bring it up. And they're all like, oh my God, something's happening. Did you see these military? They're going to do martial law. Forget that as well. Now, it's not saying that the dark cabal isn't trying stuff. They are. They're trying to push their Agenda 21 on everybody, and they're doing it in California. They're doing it in other countries. We're getting it stopped here, and Agenda 21 does not have anyone's best interest in mind. It really is depopulation, and it's also control. So, you know, you just gotta wake up and stop being a sleeper. So anyway, what I was going to say about the EVP is I caught an EVP from an interdimensional being, and I asked, well, can I see you? And they said, well, look outside and you'll see us. So I'll stick that in here again. And I did some water scrying, and I got my new pictures, which I'm going to put, and a few more that I didn't add in my last video. And I'm going to be doing it again. Now, see, with water scrying, sometimes you get a lot of really good pictures of entities and spirits and interdimensional beings, and sometimes you get kind of okay pictures. You never get nothing. But you may get a lot of pictures that are nothing. But this is what I say, and it's very strange. It's almost like a Polaroid that has to develop. If you first see them and you see nothing, or you just see one or two, wait a week or wait a day or two and look at them again. You might see them and rotate them. Now sometimes they end up looking like a big face and take up the whole pot or bowl, whatever you're using. And sometimes they only take up a corner, and sometimes there's a bunch of faces. Sometimes it's spirit animals, like I showed you. So you also have to wait a couple of days, or even a week or two, or even a month or two, and go back and look at those pictures, because some strange reason, all of a sudden, they're there. They're like clear as day. And I don't know what the reason is. Sometimes you'll get them right off the bat, but sometimes they take a while to develop or for you to see them. And it's not like, oh, well, I love how they always try to say, well, your eye is communicating with your brain, your optic whatever, and it's trying to make sense, so it'll form faces. I'm sorry, but you get the full face and eye. You've seen my pictures. That's not the way it is. It's not like looking at wood grain and making faces out of wood grain. And it's, you know, it's not like that at all. So now I can prove my existence of these things through recording them and through taking water scrying pictures of them, whereas before I didn't have that ability to do so because we didn't have digicams. We had the regular little cameras, the Instamatic flash with the cube, and you had to go get your film developed. So that's a big pain in the butt. Imagine me trying to do that with a million pictures there, getting them developed, and that cost money. And it took time. It took money to get your pictures developed. In the old days, you had to wait like a week to 2 weeks to get your pictures back. So when they came out with 1 hour photo, the little photomats, I don't know if anybody remembers them. They had the little photomats where you would drop your film off, and you had them in the little containers, and then you'd wait for them, and it'd be like a week or two, and then you'd get them. And then when they had the 1 hour photos, it was like, wow, this is great. We'll get it in 1 hour. But he wants, you don't want to wait to see what you captured. But it would still cost you money. You still have to pay for that. But with the Digicam, you don't. You just take your picture and plug it in, and there it is. So that's definitely, see, some technologies can be good, and some can be used for not so good. So basically, what I just wanted to share is that I will be trying to do a live in the future where I would try to spirit communicate with entities, interdimensional beings, and open up the portal, and then have you on your end open up your portal, and I'll help you. We'll do it live, and you'll have your recorders on hand and to capture any EVP voices. Okay, so if you have any loved ones that passed on that you want to come in contact with, or if you just want to try it, then that's what we'll do. But I don't know when I'll do it, if you're brave enough. So I have to see. The other thing is I will be having more. The season is, basically the season is ended for my paranormal vlogs, and now I like to concentrate on my other vlogs, such as my DIY vlogs, where my DIY craft playlist. So I like to concentrate on my other playlists now that the season of paranormal vlogs is over. But I do like to add a few paranormal vlogs here and there as strange and odd things happen. If I capture anything, or if I do a communication session with the spirits and entities and interdimensional beings, and if I do water scrying, then I come and I post it, or if something happens, I capture it and I share it. And then I share it with you here on my paranormal vlogs. I'm going to start concentrating back to my other playlist. I took a break from my DIY crafts playlist, and I'm going to be starting doing more crafts again because I picked up some stuff to do more crafting, and I'm going to be doing that in my everyday vlogs, and I'll be doing some ASMR. So I will see you on my next videos, where we will do some of the communication. So if you want me to do a live where you can speak with a past loved one, let me know in the comment section. And I will see you in my next videos. Bye.